His third reading.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Plum. The delegate has the floor.
Speaker of the bill. Mr. Speaker, I resist the tendency to want to go back and talk about the good old days. But on this bill, I think I do have to go back and talk about a little history of how we got here. I won't go back to Captain John Smith, although he does have some application to this, because he described the pristine Virginia that existed when he did a run around the Chesapeake Bay and saw the most pristine land he'd ever seen. Abundance of fish and seafood, trees that you couldn't get your arms around. What a wonderful place Virginia was. But if we move ahead and follow the history of the development on the one hand and the lack of regulation on the other hand of what happened in Virginia. And what happened, we know that up to several decades ago, that one pristine Virginia looked a whole lot different. First, in terms of the water, we had the Chesapeake Bay turned into a body of water with dead zones. It wouldn't support life. We had major rivers, the James River, poisoned by keep-on. We had the valley, up in the valley, the Shiloh River, poisoned by mercury. We had, in terms of air quality, we failed all federal air quality standards. So Virginia, the pristine state, the Commonwealth that we knew, had certainly turned into what had happened in so many other industrial areas. It turned into a less than desirable place to live. But fortunately, growing out of that experience, some people stepped forward to make a difference. I would mention to you the late Governor Gerald Beliles, who put together a plan to clean up the Chesapeake Bay. We're still working on that plan. The bay had gotten in such terrible shape that it has taken decades to clean it. I would mention the late Delegate Dorothy McDermott. Delegate McDermott led the effort to get us involved in the clean air cleanup. And so we then adopted clean air standards and enforced them, and people who lived in suburban areas had to have their cars checked and so on. And I would mention the late Delegate Bob Bloxham Sr. led the effort on cleaning up water and putting in place a citizen board. But we need to look at what it is that we did right in the past that would work today. And that is that we recognize that there's going to be development, there's going to be growth, and we have to balance that against the fact that we also want a clean environment. And the key to making that happen was, in fact, the citizen boards. Having a professional body like DEQ and having the citizens boards to balance those interests together led to our successful effort to clean up our climate in Virginia. I think, Mr. Speaker, we would make a serious mistake to go back on where we've been and get rid of these boards and limit their authority. I hope it will be the pleasure of the House to defeat the bill.